Greetings YouTube! Today I'll be talking about an old timer, the Mini Pro Hunter. And I got this on clearance at $14.99 in the post-Christmas season of 2014. Normally it went for $19.99, so I say $5. It came with a this sheath in the package. This is what it looks like an overall. Now the sheath is actually fairly decent. I was quite impressed by this. If it were maybe an ounce or two heavier, I would be really impressed with it. But even at this particular weight and thickness of leather, it's multiple layers. The stitching is decent. The loop is useful in size and such. I'm actually considering making a dangle for this and try carrying it myself, because I found that when I have a rigid sheath like this, it catches on things. So it's prying this way and it's prying that way. It's in your belt, which that's very annoying. So if I could get myself a dangle so that it would move with my body and keep out of the way, that would be quite nice. This has a Paca wood handle. Here we go. And here we have the knife itself. It's a nice shape. I mean, look at that. Just a classic drop point. And this is it says PH2W. Not really sure what that means. On this side it says Schrade. And here on this little plaque it says Old Timer. There's a small nick here in the wood. I couldn't see that when I bought it, so I didn't notice it because it was facing this way up. I'm not going to worry about that little blemish. I'm really not. It's not a problem. I like the grain of this wood. It's quite attractive. It has some nice little fire in there, and you move it back and forth. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but it's got a nice appearance. 2 brass pins and a brass bolster here, and it's at an angle, which I kind of like. It has a nice feel, a nice vibe. Nice fit and finish in here. Obviously, full tang construction. As you go this way, there's a slight, the metal is slightly raised above the scales, but not to an extent that's going to bother your hand in the least. This, for me, is a full 4-fingered grip, and it's a nice size for both holding like this or holding like this, or just like that. It's very comfortable. Came with the lanyard attached. You could keep this one. It's just cheap leather, or you could replace it with something else if you'd like. If I were to carry this, I would probably replace this simply because I could find something that's a little more attractive than this. And it was something that would necessarily go ring, ring, ring when it's on my hanging there. What's interesting for me is that this shape comes in like this. All right. Now, in theory, you could get this. I'm going in about this far, I think, when I'm pushing it down. But you can go all the way into here and meet it. But this is actually shaped not for this blade. So it makes me think that the company is building this sheath for more than one knife, which is fine. It's economical. You're building one sheath for multiple blades. It doesn't affect you at all, me in the least, by having it be that shape. But I find that kind of interesting that they've built a sheath that's intentionally designed for more than one knife. That was kind of cool. I find this to be very handy in size and weight. Speaking of weight, let's get the whole package here. The whole package is 130, which is very nice, which is light, and the knife itself is 91. So again, not a heavy blade. I think this is an ideal shape for a fixed blade for an everyday carry. Obviously, if you're in the field, you may want something bigger, but frankly, I don't think you want something much bigger. I would like to carry a knife that's around 4 inches for my just day-to-day task, and then a larger blade, probably in the 11 to 14 inch range for the chopping and batoning that you're going to need to do around camp. But for the day-to-day tasks of doing some small work, making fire sticks or preparing food, things like that, I think this is a great shape. This is a hollow grind with a secondary bevel. It came out of the package with a usable, if not shaving, sharp edge, and you could hone that up without any difficulty. This up here, I like the fact that this stays relatively thick until you get to right here, and then it begins to thin, so it's not too thin, so you're not going to have to worry about this breaking off on you. Not to mention, with this particular shape, it is less likely to cause that problem. This is not designed for using as a screwdriver or a pry bar, but it's nice to know that it's not being designed to be difficult for you in the field or just a day-to-day tax. Overall, I was really quite impressed with this. This is, like I said, almost a perfectly ideal size as far as I'm concerned for an EDC knife. You don't want a big, heavy, everyday carry fixed blade. And I've got nothing wrong with people carrying fixed blades. I would carry a fixed blade if I could have it work the way I wanted to. And I think this sheath, I could make this sheath work by making it into a dangler. So I may work on that. I think I'm gonna need a D-ring, and I'm gonna need another ring, and then make a loop and such with a hole in it, so that I can then hang it from my belt, build a loop like this with a grommet that is a hole. They may sell kits like that. I don't have a grommet kit at this point. I need to get one. So this has been, whoops, let me go this way. This has been the Old Timer Mini Pro Hunter that I found at Tractor Supply in a sale, but you're probably going to be able to find this online without any difficulty. And I think it definitely would be a useful addition to anyone's collection and could be a functional everyday carry fixed blade.